Hi, my name is Lauren Kolb. I am a sophomore with College Plus. I'm actually sitting here today at Valley Forge National Park, and it's just a neat place to be because it's a little bit of a reminder of how Washington was here, and he spent the winter here, and he actually was making plans for the spring for, to see where he wanted to put his people during the war. And I think it's just really neat because it talks a lot about the perseverance of Washington, and God is just someone that perseveres in our lives, whether we know it or not, or whether we want him to or not. And so this story is just basically about the perseverance of God, and not always necessarily my perseverance. I was 18, and I thought I knew everything. It was quite a while ago. It was about 10 years ago. I knew that my parents didn't know anything, and I just thought that education was something that was not really for me. I just thought that, it was for other people, but I'm just gonna go and get into the workforce. And I always said to myself, I'm never gonna go to college. Not everybody needs college. It's silly that people get out of school and they go and get an education. I just always thought that was such a silly thing. So I worked for about 6 years as a landscaper, and then God really called me to do missions work, and so I decided to go with a program called Youth with a Mission, YWAM. And what you do is a discipleship training school where you are able to sit in the class and learn from these amazing Christians, just about hearing God's voice, evangelism, going out and really learning about the Bible and things like that. And one of the really neat things about YWAM is they send you on a 2-month outreach with a bunch of other people from different cultures, so you get to really learn a lot of things about different people and about different cultures. And the place that I went was Mexico, and it was one of the hardest things I ever had to do. There was 17 guys and only 4 of us girls. It was just, you could just imagine how it was. And actually 3 of the girls that I was rooming with all liked the same guy, so it was a bit of a battle sometimes. But God really taught me what it meant to spend time with him and really get to know him in a personal way, not just because my parents are Christian. When I finished this school, it was in Colorado, the base leader said, "Hey Lauren, you'd be a great staff." And I thought to myself, okay, that sounds really awesome, maybe I should staff. And so I went to New Zealand for 3 years on and off, and I was staffing, and I really think I learned more than the students did, which was interesting that God did that. But I remember being in one of the classes, and it was a class on relationship, and there was a world-renowned psychologist named David Riddell. And so I was sitting there listening to him, and it was just amazing the wisdom that he had to talk about, and it was so applicable to our life and to learning about God that it was just amazing that I didn't know these things already. I remember sitting there thinking to myself, you know what? I think I want to be a psychologist. And it was just kind of one of those things where I was like, no, that's not what I want to be. I don't want to go to school. I don't need to go to school to have an education. And so I remember after class one day, I walked up to him and I said, "What does it take to be you?" And he basically said, "Go to school for 4 years and then call me and come do an internship." And that was, I think, what changed my life, was just that him saying that, just go to school and come and you can learn from me, and it just blew my mind. And so I said, okay, God, I'm gonna go home and I'm gonna go to school, which is so funny because it's so not me. It took me a little while to catch on, but I came back from New Zealand. I lollygagged a little bit, but I got a really great job with a textbook company, and I learned about people. I learned what it meant to persevere and have a great work ethic. So I started school. I started College Plus, and now I work full-time, and I'm a full-time student, which is really hard, as you can tell. Sometimes I want to give up, but it's the perseverance of God living in my life and just showing me how awesome life can be, and that I can do all things through him. A lot of my life is just based on the verse John 10:10, where the devil comes to steal, kill, and destroy, but God comes to bring life, and life to the fullest. And if you think about it, a Christian psychologist can really speak words of life to people. My main focus is to help people that are hopeless and even suicidal. I want to really show them that God has a plan for their life, and it's a beautiful plan. And so that's why I'm here, and that's why I wanted to tell you my story. Adios, amigos.